KaiserOst series and World War VI is about to end. As you can see, the mighty Russian Empire is about to crumble, with an offensive being launched. This one was called the Moscow Offensive, with the goal of reaching Moscow, which overexceeds, creating a bulge, which quickly starts to encircle the city of Moscow. And they even start spearheading the northern front down to behind the city to cut off supply lines. And well, eventually they start going around, and it's quickly gets encircled. And the encirclement happens, and the city collapses. Well, a fierce fight did break out, but at this point, running out of everything, manpower disadvantage, and about to be pushed back to Asia is not really good for a war. And don't forget, they're getting pushed back in Asia, with the Manchurian offensive into the Chinese puppet going as a success, with the goal to liberate the puppet. With Canadian forces being in charge of this, as you can see, with America already having taken back its former territories, but not official annexations yet. And they managed to take these islands, and mass advances are made along the front, on both fronts, into Russia. With India trying to hold all of these fronts together, but it's kind of hard when you have this broad of a front. With Canadian forces deciding to make a naval landing over here. And in occupied territories, there's a lot of people joining the effort. Why? Because it's their best move. And while the takeovers are happening, especially in the Chinese puppet, where they've just lost Beijing, which is probably their capital. And while India's not having a fun time watching all of its friends collapse, as they start moving up from Iran into Central Asia, parts of Russia. And while with the Central Asian steppe being invaded now, it's not looking good for the Russians. And the Russians at this point have no way of turning the tides, and they're running out of ammo as they move away from both fronts. But they refuse to surrender, with the fierce fight continuing. Then this area falls, and so on. And then, well, this area falls. And, well, they decide to withdraw south to make the front line smaller. So what they do is they withdraw to here, Indian forces, because they're basically all that's fighting now. With Iran being taken fully over, and Russia starting to be taken fully over, with another offensive being made, and then they decide to go into the puppet of Indonesia. Not Indonesia, that's the puppet of Southeast Asia. And with them falling, and India pushed back to its front line, unable to pass, they're in a bit of trouble. With the unifist puppet of China starting to fall, with them launching an offensive here and over here, which leads to the complete withdrawal from Russia, and then a beginning of a withdrawal from here. And with, well, them being kicked out of Russia and then kicked out of China, now comes the trouble. With them launching a last-ditch attempt, believing that if they win in it, they will win the war, which goes into Iran, their ally, and against Southeast Asia. Its goal is to take land, but just as quick as it starts, it's stopped. And while they're pushed across the border on two fronts now, with the decision to make a naval landing into India in the south, with them taking Sri Lanka and then moving into southern India. Yes, Unifist India is not going to make it through this by the looks of it, with them starting offensives through China and Russia now. And one offensive is made, and it's so successful, it manages to move all the way and seize Karachi. Not Karachi, this one seizes Karachi. And while the front line quickly turns into a mess, with India losing on all fronts. This isn't pretty good. It's not a good situation to be in, especially in a war that you thought you could win. And I bet your people aren't too happy with Delhi falling and pockets of resistance starting to build up. And well, you're at the peace treaty. With the surrender of India coming in after India's government has been overthrown. And let's start the peace treaty. And the first treaty we'll do is the Treaty of Ottawa, which is for the United States. Let's see how it goes. Taken over. Followed by, I guess, these nations are freed. Haiti, Dominican Republic, and, yeah, Cuba, Jamaica, and Bahamas, with Alaska being annexed by Canada. Yeah. And now, let's go to the treaty affecting Africa. Then we'll go to the Middle East. And then we'll do treaties in parts for Europe and Asia, the Middle East, which won't be much. So maybe I'll include that in Africa, along with Oceania. So let's see how the peace treaty in Africa goes. The Treaty of Khartoum is signed for Africa, including Australia, New Zealand, Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, and not Singapore. That's Philippines, with Cape Town being created as a puppet, Ethiopia being brought back. And while most of it's just a bit of land changes, you can see Algeria is back after the split. And in this treaty is one that affects Europe, minus the nations of Germany, Hungary, and Bulgaria, due to the fact that Hungary, Bulgaria, and Germany are going to be... No, I'd say Hungary can go with it. Because, yeah, maybe we can... This one will have the Treaty of Ankara, which includes Bulgaria, Hungary, Albania. The Treaty of Edinburgh, which includes England, France, Spain, Italy, Greece, and Sweden, and Norway. Denmark will be involved in the treaty with Germany, because, well, that's what will happen. So let's see the peace. The Unifest Iberia was completely dissolved, with Portugal being gained independence. Galicia, Basque, and Catalonia, and is split in two, with North and South Spain. France is back to what it was, minus Belgium is a sovereign nation again, and is a democracy, along with Italy, Albania, Greece. Bulgaria lost significant land to Yugoslavia, Romania, Turkey. They lost the Straits to Turkey. They lost Macedonia, and then some more lands to Yugoslavia. And then the Romania, they lost all of Dobruja, and then some more. And the next treaty is the Treaty of Tehran. And the Treaty of Tehran has to do with, guess what? Iran. So let's see the trend being taken by the Palestine thing, the Turkey, and Saudi Arabia. Iraq becomes a democracy, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Azerbaijan, and Iran are freed. And now to the German peace treaty. Let's see how this one goes. This is the Treaty of Copenhagen, between Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg, with France gaining their lands back, and Germany split in four: the Rhineland, North Germany, South Germany, East Germany, and that's Poland. We got Czechia back, Austria, Yugoslavia gained some southern Austrian Tyrol regions. And now for the Russia Treaty. This is going to be an interesting one. I already feel it. And Poland might change in its shape during this. So, let's see. And a few other nations might too. Grew, and you can see Baltics were united, Finland, Karelia, Belarus, Ukraine, Turkey took some lands, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Georgia, North Caucasus nations, Chechnya, Dagestan. And then we have the state, what did I call that? Caucasian state. Then you can see we have the new state of North Russia, which is known as the St. Petersburg Republic. This is Moscow, or this was made into Muscovy because it shrunk so much. And then you can see we have the, well, Ural state. We'll call it the Ural Mountain state. Literally like in Risk. There's one. Which is kind of funny. But, you know what else? We got the Siberian state, the Stanistan state. Afghanistan took some land, Mongolia's freed, China got some lands, but they still haven't been made, and the treaty's still not finished, so yeah, for China. And Japan is free, Korea's free, and Japan took some minor areas around there. And I forgot to put in this, Canada annexed over there. Canada annexed land. And now for the last treaty, the Treaty of Mumbai, which is signed in Mumbai. And I just realized something. Look, see? You can see something. Wait, those are the same colors? There's no way. See? No way. Well, that happened. And yeah. And in the Treaty of Mumbai, we'll see what finally happened to China in the end. And we'll see what happened to, well, I call that Southeast Asia. So now let's see how the peace treaty goes. Oh, more than 5. There's states taken away too. There was, well, Afghanistan and Pakistan gained independence. Kashmir was made an independent state. The Sikh area was made an independent state, along with East India, West India, Center India, South India, North India, and the Panhandle, along with Myanmar, Thailand, and Indochina gaining independence. And China's back to its former glory. And well, now to see the alliance. I think a few nations joined it at the beginning of the war. But let's get rid of the revolutionary nations. By revolutionary, it's like that. And well, the rest of them belong to the Liberation League. Why is it called the Liberation League? Because they just liberated the world, so they changed it to the Liberation Alliance, and their last plan is to invade there. As their power above the earth, as their world domination continues, that's their plan. And as you can see, the world has changed quite significantly in its place, with a bunch of world powers that were just empires, now reduced to rubble, literally. And, well, they've been made a lot new nations, but there's a lot of different nations. The borders have changed a lot. And world alliances has changed. So let's see what happens in the next video. Bye, guys! See you next time!